Hi everyone, I'm sending you all so much love and light. In this video, I'm going to talk about who we are as multi-dimensional light beings, and I'm also going to discuss my out-of-body experience I had when I went under for surgery, because I remembered what I saw in a deep meditation, and I remembered bits and pieces, and I've talked about that, but this was what I saw of it. And I have made some companion images in Google Gemini AI, and I'm going to post them as I'm discussing, they will be on the screen so you can kind of see what I'm referring to. But we are multi-dimensional light beings when we are not in bodies, and we can only experience the highest frequencies of love, like the higher frequencies of love and those kinds of emotions like compassion, kindness, laughter, humor, all of the good emotions you can think of. Those come from home, and they are all parts of love, right? They encompass that overall frequency of love. And we come to schools like Earth to experience the darker emotions, because they are a big contrast to what we experience at home, and we can't experience those things at home. And so in our natural state, we are multidimensional love and light beings. That's what we are. And with working with my guides and my angels and my team, and in various conversations I've had with them, they have kind of given me bits and pieces of what we are outside of incarnating, like what we are outside of these bodies. And we are not going to truly understand or be able to grasp, or even like in the visions they show me, I'm not even coming close to what we truly are, but they're doing their best. And even, like I channeled Jesus this morning, and he told me, like, I'm doing a beautiful job in trying to grasp these concepts and explain them to you guys, but we're just not going. Earth is so different, right? And this is what we know. This is what we're used to, Earth. It's so different from what we experience when we're not in bodies. It's just like we cannot truly comprehend it, because we have no way to like attach to these massive concepts. We just can't. But he said that this video that I was going to be doing was a great learning tool, right? They want me to, the main purpose I think they want me to convey is to teach, and hopefully you understand how they are able to be multiple places at once, like why people can call on the archangels and they can be all these places on Earth at once, or call on Jesus and he can be at all these places on Earth at once. It's because of who we are as beings. And like I said, I made images, but that's what they want me to convey, and so that hopefully you will believe that Jesus can be with all of us. Archangel Michael can be with all of us. It's possible because time does not exist, okay? When we're outside of bodies, we are awareness. So they explain that there is kind of like a passing of existence, but it's just totally different. Like they've shown me that Earth is one school, and they've shown it to me like all these schools are in pockets, and within each of these pockets, there's a linear time in the pocket, and it's like a story, it's like from beginning to end. And they can peer into these schools and be with us and have, help us, and we incarnate here, and there's linear time in the pocket where like Earth is. But then when we come out of our body, we go back to source, back to God, into our true multidimensional state, which is awareness. Time is not passing there like it is in these different schools around, that we created all around us, so that we can experience these things. And so I'm going to put up the picture now, is what, again, how can we truly comprehend a multi-dimensional being of what we would look like when we're so used to what we see on Earth? But this is how they kind of showed it to me. And imagine, because we are all one, we are all connected on the other side. We are individual beings, but we are also all one. Okay, so the image I'm showing is basically we're light beings, right? And so we're all attached as this light being. And this is how they showed it to me. And it's like each one of each individual, right? Like me, you, we're all an octagon prism inside this massive, endless, extending, united, joint oneness of prisms. Okay, so we're all attached, we're all connected, and you can see there are lines where we are individual, but we are also one. And so we can, when we're outside of bodies, we can use language if we want to, you know, we can do whatever we want, but the way we communicate is more of like instant transfers of information, but it's so much more than that, because I am tapping into how we communicate on the other side, and I communicate with my team, my guides and my angels in this way a lot more lately. The more I go down this path, the stronger that kind of communication is getting. And it's a beautiful way to communicate, because it's so much more than like an instant transfer of information. It's like using all your senses here, plus more, plus understanding something wholeheartedly, you know, just like encompassing every single thing you could think of in a thought, and just like seeing it in a multi-dimensional way and surrounding it. And it's so complicated to try to explain how this communication is. But you can kind of see how that's possible if we are all attached, like we're all these octagon prisms of light, and we're all attached to each other, and we just flow. You know, there's like a flow between us. And it does feel like a flow when I'm communicating with my team. It's like a flow. And it's like this working together, synergistic flow of communication. And so, again, I this is how they showed it to me in my visions. And I don't think it's doing it justice. I think we are truly beautiful, beautiful beings. But this is just like Jesus. When I talked to him this morning, it's a tool. It's a learning tool. So you can try to understand how they can be all these places at once. Because, so say we're each one of those octagons, right? Attached to this giant octagon prism. Imagine, so we're one of those. Imagine a ray of light hitting one of those. The light that would come out of the other side would fan everywhere. It would, and like so many endless rays would be spanning everywhere. Each one of those, so you're the higher self, the octagon light. If the light hits that, and there's all these rays, each one of those rays is for example, when you're channeling, wanting to reach out to Jesus, he's that prism, okay, that octagon prism, and the rays can go everywhere, right? And it's endless, you know, like I'm doing my best with what I have, but it's endless. And so his higher self, which is that octagon prism, is fully conscious and fully aware of every single one of those rays coming out and helping. It's like, because we're multidimensional, we can grasp so much more. We're so limited in this human body, you know, like we are only really capable of one thought at a time and understanding one thing at a time. But in our multidimensional true state, we can comprehend endless things. We are like ultimate computers, you know, like we can process massive amounts of information at once. And Jesus could be helping me right now and be fully present and fully aware, and helping all these other people and be fully present and fully aware, because he's reaching back into that higher self. He's the higher self, and he's fanning himself. And then the fact that time doesn't exist also plays a part in that, right? Like we don't experience time where we come from, and so our our way of experiencing existence is so much different. It's just so much different. It's so hard for us to comprehend here. And so then this next picture I'm going to show is kind of like basically like a zoomed in of an individual attached to the whole, right? And so that, for example, using Jesus, that is Jesus. And then it's so much more complicated. So what I showed you before was a zoomed out version of all of us connected. Imagine what you're seeing in this picture as just one individual of the whole. So each face is a lifetime we have lived. Because Jesus, that lifetime was just one of his lifetimes. He's lived many other lifetimes. He's an ascended master. He's lived many other lifetimes at many other schools. So just one face, like the face you're seeing in the picture, that's Jesus. That's the Christ consciousness, what we think of as Jesus. But all those other faces attached are other lifetimes he has lived. And he is fully aware and cognizant and present of all those other lifetimes he has lived. And people can call on those other lifetimes and he can be with them. And imagine the light hitting each one of those faces and it fans out. And that aspect of him, so that lifetime he lived, that aspect of himself can be endless places. And that's kind of like how, when I channel, Jesus is who explained a lot of this to me. And that's how we, in terms of trying to relate it to what we can understand as humans, each one of those spaces is another lifetime we have lived. And those who have lived a lot of lifetimes will have more faces, more aspects, more faces of the octagon prisms that we are. And that's how he showed it to me, was like these octagon prism faces. And each one of those faces is a lifetime we have lived. And obviously Jesus is, that lifetime he lived is very popular on Earth because he changed everything here. So it fans out to all over the place. But he has lived other lifetimes, and each one of those faces of the prism is another lifetime, and the light can reflect off of them and go to all these different places, to all these different people. But if you can kind of comprehend what I'm saying, that is how we can be all these places at once on the other side, because we are light beings. And I think that what we truly look like is so much more beautiful than what I'm showing you. But like I said, it's a good teaching tool to try to comprehend how one being, one lifetime that you have lived can be called upon and be all these other places around the Earth. And Earth is just one school. It's just one school. And the higher self is like the whole self, right? The whole join, like the joining of all of those faces is like the higher self. And you, in your true state, you comprehend every lifetime you have lived at once. It's all part of you. And you can kind of like shift yourself and make yourself be one aspect, one life. When I say aspect, I mean lifetime, because that's kind of how they show it to me. You can present and make that personality or that lifetime your forward facing one, like the one that you are presenting, but you remember all of them and they're all part of you. And every lifetime you live adds to that wholeness, adds to that oneness of yourself. But again, this picture is just one of us. We're all attached. So it's like I pulled out one of us, but we're all truly attached in that the first image. So every lifetime each one of us is living is contributing to the whole, because we are one. We are all united. We are all one we are God. All of us together makes up God. We are all fragments of God. And so every lifetime we live adds to the knowledge of the whole. We all benefit from each one of our lifetimes we have lived. So we have our higher self and our personal development, spiritual development, but then we have the wholeness and oneness of who we are as a collective consciousness, the collective being that is benefited when we incarnate and we live these lifetimes. It's like there's so much learning and growth happening, and it's on a personal level and a united collective consciousness level of the oneness of all of us and the oneness of God. And it really is very beautiful and so complicated, you know, and I'm doing my best to like to convey this, because and again, in a way, like I said, I talked with them without words a lot, and so I hope I'm doing it justice. I hope I'm explaining this and you guys are understanding it and it's helping a little bit, and you know, understanding the beauty of who we are, you know, the endless beauty of who we are as beings. So I was in a deep meditation and I was not expecting to remember anything about my out-of-body experience, but my team, my guides and my angels and my team had told me that I would remember more and more as time went on. And up until this point, it was mostly like I remembered the knowledge, like the transfer of information, you know, what I gained while I was there. But I actually remembered like what I was experiencing. And so if you've ever been put under for surgery, they put you on the table and they inject a drug in you, and that's all you remember. Like, you're basically on the table and then you wake up, right? You wake up and it's done. Well, so in what I remembered, it was basically right after they gave the drug. Okay, so I was out. I was not breathing. Like that, if you go look up, I had to look up what anesthesia is like, because I knew in that moment like I was basically dead. And when you look it up, you're not breathing on your own. You're basically dead, right? They give you this drug that paralyzes your entire body, and you're not breathing on your own. And that's why they will pump oxygen into you. Then they put that mask on, and they put that mask on to get as much oxygen in you as possible, because once they give you that drug, you're paralyzed, you're not breathing. And then they pump, and then they have to hurry and get the tube in and then get the machine going, so it forces you to breathe. So what I remembered was in that like little window of time before I think they got the machine making me breathe again. And time doesn't exist on the other side. So who knows if all of that happened in that little window, or if it was like the entire time I was under. I don't know. But so my consciousness, like how I am now, I was on the table and they had injected me with the drug and I was out. I then in my meditation remembered being alert, totally myself. I was me in my body. And it was weird because I could like see and feel it, right? And it's like, I'm pretty sure my eyes were closed. Like I shouldn't have, and I was seeing it at a weird angle, so it doesn't make sense. But so they're pumping me and I had to go, everything I experienced was valid. I had never seen anyone being put under for anesthesia, and everything I experienced is really, you know, is how it works. So that was validating for me. But they were pumping me, and then the guy was above me, and he was sticking this thing, he had my head back, opening my trachea, and then they were sticking the tube in, and there was like a metal thing that they had going in there, and then he pulled it out, and then all of that was happening, right? I was experiencing all of this like at once, what I'm about to tell you. So that's all happening, and I'm comprehending it, but I'm me, totally me. And I'm like, why am this is what I'm thinking. Like, I remembered this is what I was experiencing. And I was like, this isn't right. I was like, this isn't right. Like, I'm not supposed to be awake for this. Why am I awake? And then I'm like panicking. I'm starting to panic because I'm like thinking, oh my God, they don't know I'm awake right now. Like, something is very wrong. And then this whole rush of love comes over me, and I think it's like I almost like united with my higher self. And then I'm thinking, oh, like this makes sense. You know, like this makes sense. This is normal. I mean, like it was like weird. It was like I was like, oh no, this is normal. This is how I'm supposed. This is what it's supposed to be like. This is, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm in the middle of a surgery. And I started being calm, even though they were doing all this stuff to me. And, you know, just like it all made sense. It just like, it all made sense. I was connected to like the oneness, and it all made sense. And I felt myself expand. Like I could feel myself becoming more expansive and like calming down and like being like, oh yeah, this is just me. I'm going under for surgery. Like this is supposed to be happening. And as this calm was coming on, all of a sudden, and the picture should be up right now, I saw this expansive blue pool of consciousness, and it was like all around me, like all around me. Even though I was kind of like on the table, it was all around me. And this picture does not do it justice. I tried so hard to get it as close as possible, but it is just unearthly what I saw. And it's weird, and I asked my guides this, like I remember it, but not the way I remembered it. I don't know how to explain it, like not the way I remembered it when it was actually happening. And they were trying to, and sometimes that happens with my visions too. It does with my visions. It's like during the vision, it is so vivid and real, but then my recall of it is not as intense and not as strong as when I experienced it. And it was the same with this. And they were explaining to me that my human brain has nothing to attach to it for recall. Like, you know, for everything else, our human brain, you know, that we experience in life can attach things to it because it's earthly. There's, when you're storing it into your memory, there's ways to attach different things to it and store it in your memory. But when you experience like unearthly things like that, the human brain doesn't know how to store it. It just doesn't. And so you remember it, but it's never going to be as vivid and as real as when you were experiencing it. And not only that, when I'm experiencing visions and like during this, and if you experience visions and, you know, things like, or if you had an out-of-body experience or anything like that, we are multidimensional in that moment, right? Like we are experiencing life differently because we are more tapped into the multidimensional, you know, other side and God. And so our senses are extremely heightened, and we're feeling things multidimensionally, so we're able to see it and comprehend it in a way that then when you come down and you're trying to come down, you know, not come down because it, you know, it's everything's on top of each other, but you come back into your earthly human self and you're trying to recall it. It's almost like you need to be back into that expanded state of consciousness to see it that way. But a lot of it too is just like I said, the human brain has nothing to attach it to store it in your memory. So like I remembered it and I was able to make this picture, but not in the way I know when I felt it and I was experiencing it and seeing it. It was so beautiful. It was so, and it felt like home. When I was looking at this, it felt like a home to me. Like I was going home. I was at home. And it was this moving mosaic blue fluid, just like pool of consciousness. And it was moving and flowing and like all around me. And I was like enveloped with it. And it was just like, it just felt like home. It felt like home. And if seeing that felt like home, then you know that. And it was mosaic-y in a way, like in the picture, like I showed it. The way we live on the other side and like our true selves is nothing like here. Nothing. Like, of course, we're not going to be able to comprehend it when we live life in this way, you know, like from what I saw, it's so different. Like this blue, and that may have just been the beginning of maybe returning home, you know, like I don't know. I don't know. But it was so beautiful and fluid. It was alive. It was like a pool of consciousness. That's what it feels like. It was like I was seeing our consciousness, like a blue pool of consciousness. And I need to like dig deeper and ask my guides about if the blue has significance, because I know that other people see different colors. Like maybe my soul family, it kind of felt like my soul family was greeting me and they were blue. You know, like, and it was the shades of blue. Oh my God, so many different blues that we do not have here. Like, it was just so many fluid living shades of blue. It was so many. And when I was trying to make the image, I kept saying add more shades of blue, and it was like it was like it tapped out. They were like, no more shades of blue it could add. Like, it's just absolutely amazing and beautiful and validating that. And I've always loved blue too. Like, blue's my favorite color. I love turquoise. I love blue. You know, like blue stones. Blue has always been my favorite color. And I'm wondering if maybe I vibrate with the color of blue. Like, maybe that, like I said, my soul family, maybe we're blue light beings. Like, I'm going to have to dive deeper with my team and ask them about this. But I felt a connection to all these endless shades of blue. And like I said, it felt like I was just coming home. Like, I was just coming home. And it was like they were greeting me and calming me and telling me it was all going to be okay. And I've talked about in past videos, a lot of the information I received was about the chakra system being real, you know, basically about God being source, being real, about beings and spirit guides. And, you know, a lot of the information I've talked about was like the beginnings, you know, it was like it woke me up. I was being woken up and reminded that we are multidimensional beings, and Earth is just an experience. It's just one experience that we're having. And that they, you know, like they told me, I've lived many, many lives before this. Like, this is just one life I've lived. But like, they tell me I'm an adventurer, that I like to go to schools. I've been to many schools and lived many lifetimes. And, but they told me I had a hard time believing this, but they said that I'd never been to Earth before, and that this was I came to help. I came to help, but I wanted to experience it all. Like, that was like part of the point, is I wanted to experience it all when I was here. And so I wanted to undertake a very hard life and, you know, feel that stark contrast, and at the same time help. You know, like, I'm on a mission. I came here to help. Like, that's the point. And I had a hard time believing that, but I'm going to trust my team that they're not lying to me. But at the same time, I can see it being true, because I've always felt like an alien here. Truly. Like, I don't agree with anything the way Earth is run. I've always felt like this. Like, as a child, I looked at and I'm autistic, and like I've said, people on the spectrum are usually light workers, because of our energy, and our nervous system is affected by our more advanced, like, souls, you know, being put into these bodies. It overwhelms our nervous systems and the whole body, really. But even as a kid, I didn't understand people's motives, you know. Like, a lot of my life I was very, very confused as to why I was different, and why I thought differently, and why I saw things that other people didn't see. And so in some ways I can see them being right. Like, I can see that being true, that this is my first time here, because I have always felt like an alien on this planet. Like, I really have. And, you know, before I was spiritual and I got diagnosed with autism and all my, like, my SPD and all of my other issues, that was, I was like, oh, it makes sense, you know, because I have autism, like, that's why. But then when they woke me up during my surgery and this whole spiritual path started, it was like, made me understand it in a soul level, a much deeper level. Like, oh, this is why. Like, this is why I've always felt like this, and this is why I have autism and a hyperactive nervous system. And, you know, like, it very much explained it to me in a much deeper level. So if you have always felt like a sensitive being and different than others on Earth, it's because you're a light worker, and you may have had a couple lifetimes here, or this may be your first time here. For a lot of light workers and very advanced souls, this might be your first lifetime here. And if you've always felt different and been in tune with that, that's why you kind of are an alien here. You're a more advanced soul. And so a lot of these souls on Earth who are very much caught up in the drama and, you know, capitalism and money and greed and, you know, all the things that Earth is good at, Earth excels in, you know, it's those souls are newer. They're newer, and they're still growing, and they still are having to learn these lessons. And, you know, we've kind of already, a lot of us have, there are so many lessons we can learn, right? Like, I'm learning lessons in my lifetime here. We're always growing and learning, but our lessons are different. We have different lessons. For a lot of light workers and advanced souls, our lessons are self-love. Like self-love, self-care, like confidence, you know, like different lessons. You know, it's not like overcoming greed, you know, a lot of the lessons. My dog is snoring so loud, so if you can hear that, I'm sorry. But it's funny. It's really ridiculous. But yeah, you know, we have different journeys, and we're here to help them, but also not only help them, and you know, this is a critical moment in Earth, but help Earth, help Gaia, because Earth is alive, and like my guides, my team referred to it as her as Gaia, and Gaia is hurting because humanity is hurting her, and so we're here helping heal the planet, you know, like not just helping the new souls, but actually heal the planet, transmute negative energy into positive energy and push it back into Earth and heal it, you know. Like, there's so many layers and levels to this school, and the different, all of us are at different levels of development and learning different things while we're here. You know, it's complicated, it's complex and complicated. But I guess I'll end there. And if you have any questions for me or my guides, you know, please leave it in the comments. And yeah, I just send you all so much love and light. I was going to channel them, but my dog is snoring really loud, so I will channel them in my next video, because I don't think I'll be able to concentrate with my dog snoring that loud. So I'm sending you all so much love and light, and please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Thank you so much for watching.